Hi everyone, I'm back with another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tottocharizze and today I'll be reviewing my latest addition to the fam, the Archer and Olive Acrylograph pens. I have been eyeing these pens for a long time and they are finally here. These pens were not sponsored, I purchased them myself and this review will be an honest one as I always do. So if you have been deciding about getting these pens, this video might be helpful. So let's start with the basics. The Acrylograph pens are water-based and non-toxic acrylic ink paint pens that can be used on both light and dark paper. They are first released in selections with 8 signature colors, a white pen, and a blender on each set with 2 nib sizes, 3mm and 0.07mm that is sold for $35 US. I got the Jewel selection in 0.07mm. The other selections are primary, tropical, cool fall, and warm fall. Each set comes in a storage box with a blending palette on the left, usage instructions on the right, and 2 replacement nibs. The box is plastic-free, but it is protectively wrapped in plastic when you get them, and the barrel is said to be recyclable. Archer and Olive recently released the individual Acrylograph pens and are available in every color on each set. They are sold for $5 and $29 US, so if you already have these pens and your favorite color is running out of ink or need of a backup, you can now purchase them individually. I bought these pens from the official Archer and Olive stockist in the country, Calligraphy Source, but if you can't find one on your country, you may also shop them from the Archer and Olive official website, which I'll link on the video description. You can get a discount using my affiliate code Tottocharizze10 for 10% off on every purchase. This way I get a small commission but at no extra cost to you. You get a discount to save some and support me at the same time. On a closer look, the pens are slim and feels light. The product name and tip size are written on the barrel together with the color swatch. There is a signature Archer and Olive ampersand on the cap. The nib is also easy to remove. Now let's talk about how to use them, starting with the activation. The direction says, with the cap on, vigorously shake the pen up and down before each use. Press the pen tip against the blending palette until ink flow begins. It only took me 3 presses for the ink to flow, which is really great. Now I'll be testing them on different types and thickness of paper. The Acrylographs might be made for Archer and Olive paper, but I would say that not everyone owns an Archer and Olive notebook or notepad like me. Yes, this is the very first Archer and Olive product that I own. And you probably have seen other reviews of the Acrylographs before this, and they are mostly tested on Archer and Olive notebooks. I wanted to see how they would perform on other notebooks as well, like the current one I use, which is from Mazy Lane Co. But maybe anytime soon I'll get to do a review of their notebooks to personally see if they're actually good. To save my time, instead of activating them one by one, I'll be activating the remaining pens in force. Just like the first pen I activated a while ago, I didn't have any problem activating the rest. The ink flowed quickly in just 3 to 5 presses. I have experience with other pens before that require activation that took me forever to activate and the tip got damaged. It's really nice that these Acrylographs needed a little effort and they are good to use. First, I'll do a swatch of the pens on my journal, on my Kraft, and black paper. For a moment, I thought I am swatching 10 colors, so my spacing on the second line went off And I think these pens look really nice on white paper. The swatches on Kraft, on the other hand, however, the pens, especially the white and the lighter colors, are not that opaque. The same happened on the black paper. The lighter color in terms of opacity aren't that good as well, though my favorite from this collection is the olive green color, which looks really great on the three. The acrylographs are mentioned to be great for layering as well, so we'll see on the next test. I'll be doing different examples. First is the acrylograph on Acrylograph. Second is writing with different pens like a fine liner, a brush pen, permanent marker, white gel pen, and a metallic pen on top of the acrylograph. Third is acrylograph on another acrylic paint. So far, so good, and I also checked if the pen picked up any pigment from the paint underneath, but there is none. Fourth is acrylograph on gouache. At this point, you can see the acrylograph is not that opaque on the first application, or maybe because I used a brighter color on top and the tip picked up pigments from the gouache. Finally is acrylograph on watercolor, which is good, and the pen didn't pick up any pigment from the watercolor. The third is blending test. I'll be trying a few ways I've seen from Bonnie, the owner of Archer and Olive, and tutorials from Brand's design team. First is creating a new shade with blending pen. I'll be doing another shade of green using these two colors. What I'm doing is press down the tip of the pens until I'm satisfied with the amount of ink on the blending palette. And then I'm blending both colors with the blank pen and rolling the tip to get enough ink for painting. Another shade I'm doing is an old rose color. I'm pretty happy with this method, however, it's going to be a slow process for me if I have to paint a large area on my illustration using a 0.07mm tip. Second is blending two colors using the blender pen on the paper. I'm painting them side by side, then blend it with the blank pen. The inks dry super fast. I almost had no time to blend them, and that resulted to patchiness. I tried it again with another pair of colors and worked as fast as I can, but it gave me the same results. Third is blending two colors using the colored pens. I was pretty confident on doing this method because it won't quickly dry as I'm using the pen themselves to keep them wet. But ooh, it's taking the soul out of the paper. I mean, it's pulling the fiber off the paper, so I stopped right there. Maybe I was doing it wrong, or maybe because the paper is semi-coated. I'm not really sure, so I tried it again with another pair of colors, and this time it went quite well. Lastly is creating a gradient by picking up a darker color on a lighter pen. I'm pressing this olive green onto the blending palette, and from there I'm picking up the paint using this cream-like color. I'm using the same pen for painting until the darker color wears off, and as you can see, the gradient is very smooth. The fourth test is a smudge test, We'll see here at which time frame the ink completely dries. We have 1, 5, 10, and 15 seconds. You will see me smudging them on real time. There was a significant smudge on 1 second, which is totally understandable. On 5 to 10, there were slight smudging, they are almost the same. On 15 seconds, the paint is completely dry. The fifth test is to check for bleeding or ghosting. The white paper is 160 GSM and there were no ghosting or bleeding. The Kraft paper is 100 GSM. The paper buckled and ghosting is seen on the darker shades. The black paper is 140 GSM. There were no bleeding or buckling on the paper. The last test, which I'm curious to know if the dried ink from the pens would resist my sweaty palms, because this is one of my problems when coloring or painting. The paper gets an instant fingerprint. While the ink is water-based, if you're a person who is very conservative of using paint, and sometimes if you see a dried paint on your palette and would think that you can re-wet them again with paintbrush, it's impossible once it's dried, so that is another thing to keep in mind. For my final thoughts, I think that these pens look amazing on white paper on a single application. For other colored paper, if it's not from Archer and Olive, they would do as well, but I would have to layer them again to achieve the opacity that I'm looking for. My only challenge from the whole test is the blending, especially with the second and third methods where the ink became really patchy and difficult to blend due to the ink is fast to dry. I would prefer blending them with the first and fourth methods, and I find that the ink dries slower on the blending palette on the set. Creating new shades was really fun for me now that I only have one set. However, it would require me more effort for that new shade if I'd like to work on a larger area on my artwork. My advice is to work as fast as you can if you're to use it directly on the paper. If you like to work on bigger areas, it is better to use the 3mm nib. The 0.07mm are actually great for the finer details, which they have mentioned on the description of these pens. Packaging wise, I'm a fan of their packaging. Aside from the pens are very secured inside the box, it's also eco-friendly and the barrels are recyclable. Color-wise, I absolutely love the shades of this jewel selection. They are really stunning. Another favorite would be the warm fall collection too if I were to buy another set. I'm also glad that they finally released individual pens so you can buy shades of your choice. So are they worth it? They are, but I would say that buying the colors you really want are better than buying a set because you know you are going to use all of them. Whereas buying a set, there will always be a color that you'll never use. Another pro is you won't have to blend colors and be in a hurry to achieve the shade you want. Thank you so much for watching this review. Let me know in the comments if you're planning to get them as well, or if you already have, I'd love to know your experiences with these pens. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!